Oh,
All right, guys, welcome to another episode in Those We Trust podcast. My name is Malik Howard. For the second time, I got my boy Edward on the pod.
you know who it is. It's Edward. Edward Estramero. Follow me on the gram, Edward_ENT. What's poppin'?
It'll be below as well, and we do have some guests in the audience. And we're going to get started. I didn't even show you the new logo, bro,
Oh,
for
yeah,
this
talk to me.
month.
And I want to get this damn pin. Let's go with it.
$5.
Oh, you have them already?
Oh yeah. This is you guys will see it below. It will be there, but I made it for the Pride Month episodes.
Okay.
And I'll make sure to include that as well.
Let's kiki with it. I want them.
Facts.
$5?
The pin? Oh, I don't have those made.
No.
I have these pins right here.
Okay, so
That's what I had. You guys will see that. I'm dropping that tomorrow. Well, it's already been dropped, so you'll see it. Yeah, but I think for this episode, I really wanted to bring Edward back because he's probably one of the, as he would say, we can kiki and calculate each other more than like I'm as close with anyone else when we talk about certain topics. And it's kind of been recent that I've been having like these, I would say, arguments, disagreements with family members and just friends and family about certain topics. So it's like we're sitting here having these arguments and we don't have someone that's can classify as the LGBTQ community to have their own input into this. So I just want to give you that platform to discuss
Wait,
it.
who's here?
Huh?
Who's here?
Go ahead, introduce my guy.
Who, myself?
What are you saying? Who's here?
You said you have like someone like LGBT, someone from the community here.
You.
Me?
Yes.
I think you have this mixed up.
What?
I'm an ally.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm trolling.
I guess
I'm trolling with you. I'm trolling.
Okay. I was really about to
Nah.
spaz out and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, I'm trolling. Nah, I appreciate it. No, I
Yeah.
think it's a good opportunity, and I feel like we've always had good conversations with one another, like from the
Yeah.
very rip, like
Yeah.
especially about like not touchy topics, but people, they're like, oh, don't speak about politics and etc. We're like, nah, fuck it. Bring it up. Let's talk about it.
So I really want to take that time and I thanked you, like, even though like when we all in the group chat was like, yo, happy Pride Month to Edward, I like texted him this side. I'm like, I forget what exactly I said, but I said something smart and I was like, yo, no, for real, bro, like, thank you for opening my eyes to everything there is and everything I didn't know, my own biases that I may have had and my own preconceived notions of different things that actually go on in the world. And I want to take that time to express that thank you, because it's so funny when we think about, like, diversity and inclusion, it's always just about race. And like there's so much that goes into that,
Literally.
of course. But I feel like going to college, you really I would always say, like, yeah, I'm open to everyone, but I truly didn't know what it meant to be an ally. Like you taught me so much within that, and just being free and open space. Because I can say, if you were to take it like whatever, how many years ago, like graduating high school, at that time I just knew as gay people, like, they would annoy me. I would be like, yo, you're so annoying, you're so extra, like, you don't have to be like that. But that's
Hated gay people.
who that hate gay people. But I didn't no way I didn't say I can't say like I hate them, but I just couldn't stand, like,
No, you
they're
have
so
your like.
to me they were obnoxious. And I was like, that's not everyone. Like, I can't think of it like that. It's so weird.
I think it's funny you bring that up. Well, first of all, also I want to point out, like, yes, I'm happy you were able to be a good ally, but you were a good ally at the same time. Like, even though we were, learning from one another and teaching and whatnot, it literally just felt like it was like brotherhood. Like, it was just like we figured out how to work with one another. And I think you bringing the point, like, you would look at or think of gay people like, oh, that's so annoying, or they're so obnoxious. It's like some people could look at it and be like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, oh my God, like, how dare he say some shit like that? But I know for myself, sorry for that tongue pop. I know for myself, like, I definitely, growing up, you're obviously gonna have your internalized homophobia, and you're gonna be like, yo, like, that's kind of like queer, that's gay, like, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But now being more accepting and understanding and like going through my own experiences, it's funny because you run into a lot of moments where now in the community you're just like, ugh, like, fucking heteros, like, just shut the fuck up, So it's like, I get your point, and it's like some people could be so quick to jump and like, that's so fucked up, like, how could he say that? But it's like, you have this belief, or you have this specific perception of what you're seeing, and you're gonna make your own judgment to it. And it's like, it's all about navigating through what you're seeing, and then building off of that. And then
I could be honest with, like, my mistakes, in that, like, yo, it was just that, like, I wasn't exposed to it. How can I sit here and be like, and what is it called? I always forget terms when I'm on the podcast, but if you just talk to me in general, but like I wasn't exposed to certain things, and I was just missing that information. But I wanted to go back into like, we don't have to go. It's up to you how deep you want to go. But within that, like, I was like wondering, like, I was just always born. I just knew, like, I was attracted to women like that. It was just like a norm to me. Like I saw a girl, and like I don't know when, and I was like, yo, I'm attracted to them. So within that, like, when did you like feel like you were dealing with like a what am I like why am I feeling this way of like
no comment
attracted to both, because you're not just a gay man, you're bisexual, and we'll go into that later of what you taught me in that as well. But like, what was it for you in those first moments of like, you know what, I'm a little different, like?
Well, I think,
or even how'd you deal with those thoughts?
I would definitely say like my first thoughts were like, oh my god, you're a narcissist. Just because for me it was like everything was about like what I was going like perceiving or what I was going through. You know what I mean? Like I did school, and I went to school and I did what the fuck I had to do at school. Like I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, like what does Edward have to do? And I would just like navigate through my day. And then I would say like it was from very young. Like there was really never no thought process to it. It's not like it was like a day of like, oh, like let's see if what's XYZ. Like let me process this real quick. It goes along. I really don't know, because it's like it wasn't a moment. It wasn't like this thing where it was like, oh my god, I like a boy, or oh my god, I like a girl. It was just like, oh, that person's like cute or whatever. Like, oh, that person's cute, or that, it just kind of developed of like attraction, like natural attraction. And then I feel like as you grow older, so I would say then like third grade was like one of the first early moments where like the picking started on, so it's like, oh, like, okay, I'm like, maybe I'm different.
So you dealt with that in school,
of
like
course,
growing up?
Of course. Okay. Well, not so much, but more like elementary school.
Okay.
But in that sense, it's like you go through that moment of like, okay, like obviously I'm over here, I'm hanging out with the girls versus the boy. I feel more comfortable with the girls versus then hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But I'm still myself, like I'm being Edward. I went through middle school, and it's just, I don't know, like it was just I always did my own thing. But I would say around like second grade, third grade, fourth grade, when you start learning about like the social norms and like these gender norms and how you are supposed to identify, or society wants you to identify. Yeah. I started just to like, I never questioned what was told. Like it was okay, like boys, wear blue, whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna wear blue.
Yeah.
But then when it would be a thing of, all right, let's say I want to wear a pink shirt, and it was like, why are you wearing a pink shirt? Like, you're a boy. I'd be like I was very, how like now people do it for the clout, where it's like, oh, I'm so aware, and like, like non-binary. It's like cool, cute, like you did your research, but there's a difference from like knowing, or like having your experience, or like being for a show. Yeah. And I feel like from a very young age, I was always like, who gives a fuck? Like, like what does it matter? Like, do we understand how simple, like how much meaning we putting into a color? You know what I mean? Like it's just.
Yeah, I wrote a paper on like gender rules and like just aisles and how much research goes into like the toys kids play with and stuff like that.
No, exactly. So it's like growing up, it's like you get put into these boxes on how you're supposed to be. So I think as those moments in life started to build up and kind of is supposed to like build your moral ground, that's when I started more of like, not even an internal battle, but just kind of a questionnaire of like, well, why can't I, why can't I play with the Barbie doll and have the toy truck, or why can't I wear the pink, pink shirt? I was never so much of like, even though right now I do have my nails painted, but like I never was like, oh, I want to play with makeup or whatever, whatever case it be. But I just saw things as things, I never put them into these identity, and I feel like I just did what I wanted to do. So I never had like this moment of like ding. It was just I went through life, I experienced my moment, and then the first time I would say that I identified or like put a label onto something was like maybe 7th grade. And I definitely think it's 7th grade at that time. It had to do like within the roles of bullying that led into it, where I'm like, oh, like I'm bi, just to like kind of get people off my back. But as I started like figuring myself out, I'm like, okay, like I would have not been pushed to having to explore this part of me if I wasn't like kind of like picked on or taunted on. But it allowed me to then, okay, like I do like this and I do like that, and I can fall into this.
You kind of took like a positive a positive role into what you went through then. Like, you kind of made it to, like, your own positive thing, I guess.
I tried. I feel like my best.
Yeah.
It's weird to say because you don't, or at least for myself, not you don't, but like for myself, I haven't sat there and like really like gave it like the full on like,
Just
read
thought.
and like thought on it. But I guess you could say that I did take a positive route.
Yeah.
I definitely had my moments where I held some like resentment towards my own self and like let negative like actions roll out. But I feel like for me, and I think it still shows very true to today, it's like all I want to do is have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have a good laugh.
Yeah.
I just want to like make people happy, like entertain. Like that's how I've been. So whenever like I got picked on, I just knew like I'm like, okay, like how this can go two ways.
Yeah.
Either we're gonna fight, or we're gonna laugh it off.
Yeah.
So I learned from a very young age, like if once you like figure out your insecurities or whatever that like makes you like blush or start sweating or like second guessing yourself, for me it was like once I realized that and I can like kiki about it myself in the mirror, then like I can it's not gonna mean nothing when someone else does it. So that was my mentality, and I feel like I just kind of put my energy into every stage in a different way. I had to turn it positive because
I think when I think about like I was doing research, and it was just like, when I think about when I walk into a room, I don't have to think about like coming out in every space you are in. Like, you know what I mean? I forget where I saw that, and it was like, in every space you walk into, like, you have to, it's almost like a coming out and like showcasing this. And it's like, I kind of do feel like I do have some of those. With like, I feel like when I walk into a room that's predominantly white, that I'm walking in, and it's like, I'm the minority, I'm your diversity that's walking in. So do you feel like that, like, when you were growing up, and then when you got into like your high school and college, that you're like, all right, how can I make this space comfortable for myself? Hey, everyone, like, I'm me. Or would you like, you know what? Like, I don't care. You're going to accept me for me. And if you don't accept me, then I just move my own way.
Bitch, I'm me. 100 on the wrist, I ski. Or on the wall, I ski. No, for me, it was just, I think it definitely was that. So in the beginning, it was, I'll tell you the first moment. Like, the first moment that it was like, oh, shit, okay. Like, this is tea. So it was like 5th grade. And, I was just a goofball. Like, I really just would go to school and just fuck around. Like, I did my work, but I would just fuck around. And obviously, I would just, like, have a good time with the girls and whatnot. And, like, sometimes the boys, they didn't like that. So, like, whenever they would, how they would, like, bully the girls to, like, show that they flirted. Like, and they'd be like, I would be like, yo, like, kind of, like, stop, blah, 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 like, on the girl side. And at that point, I remember, like, one day after school, I went to school the next day, whatever. I remember they chucked the shit out of this damn now and later to the back of my head. And at this point,
now later, nigga.
Yeah, no, like at the school, in my middle school, we had to, when we got to school, like, we had to wait outside. It was cold. It was like maybe like October, so it was.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty cold out. That now and later was like rock. It was a pebble. So they chucked it at me, whatever. So
is that really what it is? It's now and later.
Yeah, a now and later.
Now and later.
Yeah. What do you call it?
Black people never pronounce the 3 words.
Now later.
Now later.
Yeah.
But is it really now and later?
Now and later.
No fucking way. Yo, I hate black people.
Now and later. Stevie's like, no.
It is now and later.
Yeah.
Holy shit, black people. We gotta get it together, bro. Now later. Now later.
He's gonna now later.
Keep going.
The annihilator.
Keep going.
But yeah, what the hell was I saying? I said something about me.
5th grade to now later.
Yeah, so pretty much after I went up to them, I was just like, yo, like, why are you guys throwing like shit at me, blah, blah, blah. And then like they started like picking on me, like, no, like, you're gay. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, what the fuck? Da-da-da-da. So like they're talking this shit, and I'm like, okay, so let's play. So I'm gonna pick up the now and later. I'm gonna start chucking shit too. So whatever, I chuck it across like the fucking recess area. After school, I go outside. And I'm like walking down. I have like my binder, and I'm and out of nowhere, I'm like, boop, and I got jumped, and I got jumped by two of these boys. And I was just like, at that moment, like that was like one of those moments where I'm like, damn, I'm really getting jumped right now. Like it was just like kind of like
slow mo.
Like you're probably wondering how I got here. And in my head, it's like I'm having the conversation with myself in my head, but I'm also like, my mom has always told me, like, if someone lays hands on you and you come home and you got your ass beat, like, I'm gonna beat your ass before I beat their ass. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so whatever. They break it up, blah, 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 blah. And that was like the first moment I'm like, damn, like, I have to be aware of like my spaces and where I'm gonna be at and like how I'm gonna approach a situation. So I think that was like my very first moment where I kind of like learned how to read the room, and that was around 5th grade, and then again 7th grade. So I'm not gonna lie, like you're young, and being in 5th grade and 6th grade at that time versus how it is now, you didn't have social media, you didn't have this representation, so you really were kind of like tormented with your own thoughts. Yeah. So at least for myself, or not, I feel like that sounds so harsh, but you're in a way you're thinking so much. Like you can sit there at 6th grade and you could have been like, okay, like I'm gonna have a wife, I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna have XYZ, blah 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 blah. As to where maybe someone else's moment, like their thought process is like, how the fuck am I getting through this day? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how am I getting through this damn recess or this lunch period? Yeah. So I would get picked on and whatnot. I remember one time I like cried and my friend was like, yo, like my friend, I mean, she won't mind, but like my friend Laverne, she was like the first person, like stuck up for me. She was like, yo, like leave him alone, da 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 da, and like came up to me and she was like, yo, like kind of like, what's good, like what's the tea, like if that bothers you, like who gives a shit? Yeah. And that's when I started like, okay, like I'm bi, like, you know, and it was more of like so people could back off. But then as I navigated, I figured out that I need to like create my space, and in 8th grade, that's when I kind of like began to build my brand. I would say like build my brand, where it was like, oh bitch, Edward's in the room, you're gonna know he's in the room, you know? Okay. So I like that take, the way that I took on it was, obviously I'm not gonna have administration thing. I was not a badass kid, but I retaliated to shit. Yeah. So it's like I got picked on, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be the class clown because you're not gonna pick on me. Yeah. You know, so I'm gonna like eyes on me. The teacher's eyes are gonna be on me, so you're not gonna have a time like a chance to like fuck with me. And I went through my little like rebel phase, having ISS, fighting and all that bullshit. Yeah. And then like 8th grade, I just had a kick moment where I'm like, well, this is not it. Like this is not working for you. Every day sucks. So like, how are we gonna do this? Yeah. And I just decided to rebrand, and I went back in, and what I just did, I got cool with the teachers. I would just sit down. I was like, I would just really like do my shit, and then from there on, like I got involved, and I was able to, you know, the teachers were able to trust me with roles, so then therefore my peers were able to like, oh shit, like, you know, he has stain, he's doing his shit. So I made my safe space by kind of like being a goody two shoe, but the thing, I wasn't like kissing ass, I wasn't snitching or nothing, because I would sit there and I would keep going. I already had that like reputation of like, oh, Edward like would fight, or Edward would do this bullshit, or like just talk his shit, or he's just a clown, like he's just gonna joke around, like, you know, he's not, I don't mean no malintention. You just really made me think of that meme with the kid in the road that was like on the curb. He's like, nah, cause he was talking shit. Like that's all I think. What'd he say? Cause he called me. Yes. I'm gonna put it right here. Yes, yes. What is it? Cause he fucking pushed me.
Next time you fucking put a hand on me, I'ma fucking rip your face off, bitch. What did he do to him? Cause he fucking pushed me.
Originate down here, and it's a vibe. All right, so one thing that you made me think about from like childhood, like we always knew that like in school, like you know, I'm not gay or bisexual or anything like that, but it's like when you see that kid, you're like, I had a kid that definitely got made fun of in Philly, and Philly kids are like ruthless, bro. Like legit, I never even used to. It's crazy how like I would see the kid and I'd feel bad. Like from there on, him and there was some other things where I was like, I'll never watch someone get bullied ever again. And I don't do that. And like anytime I see that happen, I step in. And I was at the park with my little brothers, and they were just like, we don't like him. Like that. I was like, and his kid name was like Tim or something. He was the asshole of the group. Like the other kid liked this other kid, but since they were friends, he was like, no, I don't want him to come with us. And they were bullying him. And it's like, Timmy, you're a bad person. Like to him. And I was like, don't hang out with him. He's a good kid. If he doesn't like him for whatever reason, don't hang out. And I'm just at the park shooting. So it was funny. Like I had a friend, and I still have him on Facebook when I see him, but like legit, they would make fun of him so bad. Like they like, you know, the tricks for kids. Mm-hmm. They're like, haha, dicks are for chicks, bro. Like that's what they would do to him all day. They would say that to him, right? But he was gay. Like we knew he was gay. We're like, Jordan, you can tell us you're gay, but he wouldn't. Yeah,
bitch. But you're not sitting there thinking like, oh, let me trust these fucking 12-years-olds and come out the fucking
closet.
Saying.
No, it's not tricks for kids. It's dicks for chicks.
Exactly. Like, whatever the fuck it
is. Exactly. So it's like, why would we think he has the space to even come out? You know what I'm saying? And then he had an older brother who was like fucking mad bitches. So it was like, this is what he has to look up to. And they looked just alike, but his brother was just older. So it was like his brother had all this swag. So think about all that he had on him. Yeah. But as I was saying, like for kids, you just know someone is different, but you don't even realize what's like, why are they different? And it's like, it's so crazy how much we put so much on just sexuality. Yeah. why do we give a fuck? Like, why do we care about what that person does or whatever like that? Just take religion out of it. Like, you don't care if Samantha goes to the grocery store, so why do you care who Samantha sleeps with? So it's like so weird to me how like I see so many people be concerned with these topics, and it's like it doesn't concern you. Mind the business that pays you, you know what I mean? And it's like
Literally.
it pisses me off so much. I see these people like lawmakers or just people like around that are just like arguing over stuff, and it's like, bro, are we really arguing over who the fuck someone enjoys their time with? And it's so crazy to me.
Or what someone wants to do with their body. I think that's the part where it boggles my mind, because what does it matter? And not what does it matter, because I also am not sitting here thinking that you should maybe get like whatever an abortion every Thursday or whatever. But I feel like if you should have the right to do what you want to do with your body.
100%.
Like,
I agree.
The other day I was sitting there and I was thinking, I'm like, everything is made up. Everything is really just so made up. Like,
the stars, right?
Why do we have to pay taxes on the fucking ground? Why do you have to then pay a mortgage on the ground you just bought? Like, it just, all these things are made up. So it's like we allow them just to take over.
Dog, I saw a post to jump in real quick. I saw a post that was like, we pay taxes, right? And then when someone dies and they leave you their money, we have to pay taxes on that taxes. So legit, you die and still have to pay. It's like we're paying taxes on our taxes, and then they do all their bullshit. It's just crazy to me, bro. It's crazy.
I just think it's like so unnecessary, certain steps and things that occur, and it's just like there are so many other issues at hand that need attention.
Yeah.
And for you to take like personal time and like pivot to stop someone from using a bathroom or stop someone from getting a procedure done, it's so unfair, because for me it's like you're actively going out of your way, and despite whatever you're practicing in religion, no matter what religion, each religion I'm pretty sure shares like accept everyone for who they are and what they are. I don't it's a natural thing, because you have science and then you have religion and like belief, but it's like it's natural for us to make our honest judgment on like, oh, we like this person and we don't like this person, and I like this idea and I don't like this idea. But I think it's a decision that no matter what, you can make a conscious like mindful thought and be like, okay, like this is what they want to do. And you're gonna go out and you want to wear a dress or wear earrings or identify however you look, you want to identify as, but like, what does that have to do with you? Like, why do you? It just bothers me when I see videos of people going out of their way to like ruin someone's safe place.
100%, bro.
It's so unfair, and I think to bring it all back, it's like I think about how I was able to create my safe space and just be like, take charge of the room. That was my like main thing. I was like, okay, if I have charge of the room,
that's how you looked at it.
It's like I'm gonna be able to kind of like manage what's happening here, and it's not gonna be so much of a fact of, oh my God, Edward is XYZ, but it's so much like, oh wait, did he get the lights up for XYZ or for this project, or did he bring this? It's the focus on somewhere else, on what I bring to the table outside of like, my sexual orientation.
So, one of the questions that everyone that debates about, and then within religion and stuff like that, do you believe people are born gay? It's a hot take. Say how you feel.
A wise woman just once said, baby, you were born this way. I don't know, like, I haven't.
So when people,
deep in this
so I'll
myself.
go into it. So when people say like, when people have like, this is just some of the conceptions of like, when people say you're not born gay, it's what you see, what you're exposed to, and being exposed to certain things. That's what you're like, your attention goes there. So when people say like, there's so much gayness and stuff that you see pushed to people when they're watching, like little kids when they watch TV, that's why they are gay. So
and why are people straight?
Well, that's what you see on TV as well. So, but then within that, that's what this. I'm arguing for other people.
No. But we're going somewhere, because now I'm thinking it's like, think about the representation we see now on TV versus what we would have seen maybe in the 70s, and there were gay people in the 70s. Yeah. So,
but it wasn't so much front in your face.
But straight shit was very front in your face.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
I see where you're
what
going
if it's the other way around? Like, I've thought about this. Now let me put a question out for you.
Yeah.
Growing up, I would think a lot. Obviously, I'm like, damn, bitch, I'm fucked up in the head. But I'm like, what if I'm the one that's right? Like, what if the world is supposed to be like that? Like, what if you're supposed to just be as fluid as fuck, as fluid as possible? And maybe Shadi ate the apple and she fucked shit up. I don't know how much the story
Yo,
goes.
I had a hot take I saw on Adam and Eve. It'll blow your mind. The Adam and Eve, like, biting the apple.
Yeah.
It really wasn't them biting the apple. It was having sex before marriage, and the apple represents what the woman's vagina. So it's like, it's so deep. I was like, this is such a hot take. This is nuts, bro. It blew my shit. But we'll talk about that into its own thing.
Yeah, that's a
whole other thing.
Yeah,
but go ahead. What do you think?
I was gonna say, I feel like I would think to myself, I'm like, what if this is the norm, or like maybe this is the norm, like the standard, like this is.
I do that with slavery.
The mid.
I was like, what if roles were reversed? Like, what if it was black people enslaving white people? How would it go? Like, that's just thinking of like an alternate world.
Yeah, no.
But go ahead, yeah.
I feel like it's very much similar to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I would think, I'm like, what if this is how it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of just flipped it in my head. I'm just like, how would the world be reversed?
Yeah.
And it would just be normal. It wouldn't. You would be the weirdo for being straight. That's just like when people use the argument that it's like, oh, it's pushed down their face and it's so in your face and XYZ. I'm like, baby girl, like, we have football, like all these sports shoved down your throat. Not even off a rip. You having like little baseball jerseys, whatever. Not the sports are like connected to just a gender.
Yeah.
But then bringing into the bill makers and the lawmakers that are putting these bills at hand and are not letting certain people play. And obviously, I'm not gonna be dumb and sit here like. In a situation like that, you have to think about someone maybe who is transitioning from a biological man to a female, and then they want to go and play like women's rugby. I can see, but it's like, and I hope that's not a touchy like comment on it, but it's like I can see on that case because it's a physical, what's it called?
Difference, like physical strength, stuff like that.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Is that what you're saying? Like it's a difference in physical
contact.
ability.
It's a contact sport.
Oh,
so it's a contact sport. So it's like it'd be different if you're playing tennis. I understand when it comes to the stats.
Yeah.
But when it comes from just like pure like, just because
Yeah.
That's the part that just like I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I get your take. You didn't answer the question at all. But I get when you went into something else. But
bring me back.
Okay, I'm gonna say what my feeling is. I think that people are born gay. You're born to like what you like, and it's no like you can come from a strictly, your family has been straight since you guys arrived in America or since the day of your family, and everyone you've been around is straight. But then you're the one person who's like the oddball out, who's like, no, I'm gay, or I'm part of the LGBT community. So that's what I think. It's I believe, and that's just my hot take, that you're born to love and do as you wish and do as you please. And it's so hard for me when people bring religion to it. I'm not going to do that, but I believe you're born the way you are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like I answered the question with what I said.
Dito, barely. Audience?
No. What do we think?
Negative. Thank you.
It didn't give. My bad.
But
then
what
to answer
the
question.
Okay, go ahead.
To answer the question, I definitely do think like you are born like the way you are, and maybe I haven't like sat there and gave a thought to it.
Yeah.
But then I think about like I very much remember like in preschool being like, oh, like, he's cute, like she's cute, like they're cute.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It just being a thing, and that's why I think that's what I meant where I was younger and I would think of how it was normal, because for me it was so normal.
Yeah.
And for me,
it was just
I just think it was just what I saw. Like I didn't allow these gender norms or these things being pushed down my throat for me to accept or to realize or to acknowledge it. It wasn't that I'm now maybe in your face or flaunting it or saying, hey, this is what I like. But from a very young age, I was very aware of my own my own self, to be like,
that's
okay,
so
but you're different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say you are born the way you're born.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna be a problematic statement.
Oh shit.
It's gonna be a problematic statement, but I do think that there are people who educate themselves and then can see or like switch. Explore, exactly. Okay. Thank you. So it's like you realize like, okay, maybe I was put into this box so early at such a young age, and we could put this on a scale of any like topic where it's like religion. Being raised, I was put into a certain religion, but I pray and I have my beliefs and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to explore other religions. And when I mean explore, I mean more educate or like research, just to know and just to be aware. And that's how I see it with like sexuality, where it was just like I was just myself. So it's just like I allowed it to be what it was, and I acknowledged it for myself. And then with time, I did my research and was ready. And I think with certain people, when maybe they believe they're straight or they are straight, and then they start to educate themselves a little more, then they're like, okay, I want to dabble a little more. And then it could not be self-taught or not, they chose to be gay. But it's like I think we grow. And
exactly.
You have to like fit yourself into the new box or whatever out of it.
Audience member, what is your thought? Just quickly, since you don't have a mic.
No, I kind of agree. And going back to like what you were saying, like there's no, it's a little off topic, but there's like no specific moment when you know you're kind of like, okay, I'm gay. It's just like you just never see those limitations that like, okay, like he's a boy, well I can't like him because he's not a boy. Well, I can't think he's cute because he's not a boy. It's just like, okay, he's a boy, he's cute. That's it.
There's no moment, you're saying. Okay. So he was saying there's no moment.
Yeah, but like also like that's what I guess from the beginning you just are who you
just
are.
know.
It's just
Oh, thank you.
Accepting yourself.
You brought up something also within when you didn't answer the question. You can put the wire over here so it doesn't like mess with the mic. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Speaking to the mic too, big dog. So remember, it has to be sideways. So then you brought up the point. You're like, why me? Like that's the question I have, and I think that's so helpful for people who may, be battling with these feelings of like God, like why are you putting this on me? Like why me? Why do I have to deal with these feelings and not everyone else? How did you deal with like those feelings of like your head is everywhere? You're just like, or was it just like, no, I made the strict like decision. Like it's so weird. This is something I can say. Growing up, there's a point in like middle school, whatever like that, where I just didn't have a girlfriend. And back then I used to have girlfriends like in like preschool and like elementary school, just back to back, right? So I got like to a point where I was just like, yo, am I gay? Like, am I gay? And I was questioning my own self. I was dealing with these thoughts, and I was like, what if? And I was able to like at the time just asking myself that, and to come to be like, no, I'm not. Like like it's just whatever.
But that's right there before we get into where we were going. It's like that ability, not a lot of men have it, and I think it goes back to the point where it's like you had your relationship with your dad, so he was able to speak to you, and you were a big reader. You said yourself like you like to educate yourself, so it's like. You allowed yourself to sit there.
Researcher, I hate reading books.
Researcher, and you allowed yourself to sit there, process your thought, and walk through it. There's a lot of like men who will sit there, and I will say boys, that think they're men but are boys because at a very young age or at maybe still points in their life, they haven't sat there and acknowledged what like what who they are and what's in them, and not even what's in them, but what they embody. And when that happens, I feel like it comes from that. It stems from that because people haven't allowed themselves to sit there and think because they're like, oh my God, or maybe like they're like, I had this thought, I need to get it out of my head, and it stems from when you're a kid, the way your parents speak to you, the way your microorganism is of like how accepting your fluidity and the way you present yourself, and I think that is a lot of the problem sometimes too, where like people end up staying like they don't allow themselves to navigate that question. So it's like that was good for you to be able to navigate that at such a young age and still like be like, okay, like this is my conclusion, and boom, that was that.
No, for sure. But like, wow, I can't believe I actually said that. That's probably the first time I just thought back to those times.
But there's a lot like there's been a I forgot his name, but he's on How to Get Away with Murder. He was Michaela Pratt's like boyfriend. He just did a podcast too, and he just spoke about that himself. Like he was like when he was younger, he would have thoughts, and I feel like that's a lot of men, and I think that's definitely where another problem. I'm gonna get fucking canceled, but I think that's where a lot of the problems too come in, like certain religions, where that's why you do a confessional or you do this portion because of these thoughts. Like these things derive, and it's like I'm not challenging anyone's religion. These are just my own theories, but it's like. Throughout the way, things can change. And yes, they're changing a little bit for the better. But what I mean with that things can change is things that are written in certain paraphrases or whatever could be tweaked by certain people in power. And I don't know, like we would get into a rabbit hole if I really want to like go where I want to go with this. But I think a lot of the culture that we see today is pushed to be like so heteronormative.
Oh yeah.
Because it ties in with religion, it ties in with power.
Like machismo.
So to answer that question, where it's like, it might be in your face, right? Like being queer could be in your face. Gay culture could be in your face.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's something that influences someone in, like, turning them gay. It's either you had it in you, or you discovered that that's what you like to do.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
Was there a time where, speaking of like the dealing with the why me, stuff like that, tying it together, the why me? But did you feel like you at a time were running from it, like running from your identity?
That's a hard question, and the reason I say that is because it's like, from a very young age, I was always just me. I was always just a goofball.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't go to school and be like, oh my god. Like it wasn't so much of being like, oh my god, I'm going to school as a bi kid and blah blah. And I'm like, bitch, I'm coming here and I haven't done this homework, or like I'm about to be the class clown, or damn, I don't like this teacher. Like I'm trying to get kicked out of class before they collect the homework. Like that's what revolved around my head. So the why me, it's like, yeah, I had my moments where I ran away from it by doing dumb shit. Like I would, like not fight. It's not like I was like top notch boxer at the school, but I would just sit there and like, I would argue or like distract the class and whatnot. And I'm forgetting what the hell the question is right now. Oh, running away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's not, I don't want to say natural because everyone has their own journey, but like for me, it's like, yeah, like I had a certain belief. I also, as a Latino man, your parents are going to push down like machismo, like tendencies.
Yeah.
So I had those thoughts of my own. So yeah, I had my moments where I ran away from it, but it wasn't so much of running away from it for myself, but for other people.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, go into that. Yeah.
So it's like, then to tie that into that culture. Yeah, I would say it's like, at the end of the day, not only are you, and at the time I didn't realize or know this, but it's like you're a first generation kid. It's like you're sitting there, and I didn't realize the things, like all the factors that I had on me in life, on top of like figuring out something that's so simple as sexuality. Yeah. How it became such a minimized priority for me.
Wow, yeah.
So with culture, it was more of focusing on taking care of my nieces and nephew, like helping out around the house, learning how to clean, learning how to also do tool, like, yard work.
Yeah.
On top of keeping schoolwork, on top of like understanding that your parents came to this country. It was like, or you're getting pushed all these things. On top of this time, my dad had cancer. So it's like, the family's figuring out how to deal with that. My sisters are translating that. I guess subconsciously not knowing, I was just putting myself last, where it was like, I know where I have to be. And so growing up, it was always like, you're the oldest, but in my head, I'm like, bitch, I'm 10. Like, this is not my responsibility. Yeah. But, now being like, being older, you're seeing that I'm an uncle. I'm like, okay, this taught me X, Y, Z, and this taught me that. But at that time, there wasn't space for me to dive in and really explore it and think about like, well, why am I like this? Why me? Or why this? So it's like definitely culture tied into it. Yeah. Because I was so busy, and that's what kind of like resented it to then it not even being a thought. Yeah. And I feel like aside that, I don't like the term running away, because it's like in my own truth, I've always understood what it was. For you, yeah. And it was just, when was I ready to share, or when was I ready to I see what you're saying. Allow you to see a side of me. Yeah, you know what I mean? I see what you're saying. Because it's like, and I think the reason I say a side of me is because although I do identify bisexual and in the queer community, it's like I have so many other, what the fuck am I trying to say? So many other hats that I wear that kind of like overshadow it. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like I'm a student, or like I went to school, like I busted my ass. I'm a hard worker. Like I'm a Latino male. Like I have other hats, hats that I'm wearing. Identities before just sexuality. Yeah. So I feel like that is what roots from me allowing to like kind of like then stem away from it, where it's like, no, this is just an addition to who Edward is, Okay. And to bring it back to that question where you asked about walking into a room, this is something that I feel like I've realized myself, where maybe growing up it was weird, and I'm like, damn, my voice, I wish it was deeper, or I wish I like had this like natural swag, like the little like pimp walk or whatnot. But like I've learned to make it a tool for myself, where it's an opportunity for me to be like fluctuate with my personality. Like you see me with the boys, like y'all, y'all are all straight boys, talk about basketball, yada 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 yada. But I could sit there and I could keep up in the circle.
Yeah.
And I think maybe like growing up it was that challenge where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna prove myself.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where it comes from, and I have that like flow. But it's like I genuinely did throughout the years like learn how to like enjoy watching sports or enjoy the chit chat. But
you gave me so many questions right now. Mine's all over the place. Damn.
go ahead.
All right, we'll be right back after this break. All right, guys, you guys been asking for it, and we finally have it. We have it ready to go for y'all. So if you look at the link below, and thosewetrust.bigcartel.com, and visit that link, you will see our products we have. We have some accessories right now for you guys to go and support. We have stickers that can be used on anything, laptops, phone cases, and they don't leave that nasty residue. Great quality. And we also have a pins. As you see, I'm wearing one right now. And our pins are on the website as well. The pins, great for jean jackets, book bags, hats as well. It's better than spending, $20 on those pins that you see, and you can support someone you know. All the pins come with a protective film on top of it, so just, rip that off, put it right on, and get it started, or you keep it on a protective pin much longer. You can also follow us on the Instagram, and it's in the link in the bio, to where it is WeTrust_podcast. And that's on Instagram, and you'll be able to see the link is the first link on that website is the In Those We Trust merch, and we have candles coming, hats, shirts, anything you guys could ask for. So please go support, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
We'll get there.
All right, welcome back. All right, so one of the questions I did have was you spoke about those identities, those many hats you had, and so it can be different for every single person, right? Who has their own identities they deal with. But when you first walk into a room, what do you feel like people first see you as? A Latino or a gay man? I mean, a bisexual man. I'm sorry.
Damn, he's hot. That's what the fuck I'm thinking.
Yeah, look on you.
I know I walk into a room and I'm breaking necks. Nah. I would say, like, it depends.
Hey, what do you think people see you first as?
But it's so hard.
Yeah,
it depends what I want to give. That's the beauty of trade. Like, I could give... That's where I was going with it. It's like I learned to use it as, like, a shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a double-sided shield. Like,
okay.
Like the big puffer jackets. Like, it's reversible. So it's like, if I'm in the room with a whole bunch, with the community...
Yeah.
With the gay community, I could sit there and I can be me and I can keep up and I can have fun. And then I can go and I can hang out with the hetero community and be me and have fun. So it depends the area, and it's weird because it's like, then what at the end of the day, it's like, what is your original like face, like what is your original card that you're giving? But it's what you give, it's like at the end of the day, what you're gonna get me, you're gonna get honesty, you're gonna get bold. What are the people's first thought? I'm not gonna lie, maybe, damn, he looks good. If not that,
fucking bro.
If not that, who's that? Or if not that,
who's that?
I want to talk to him. Or if not, like, how does he have his confidence? I'm always gonna walk into a room with confidence. Like, I'm gonna walk in and like try to put myself to be as presentable.
What's crazy? I feel like I can honestly when I ask that question,
it's not like a narcissist,
but when someone walks into the room, I'm never like, oh, look at that white man. You know what I mean? We do that like unconsciously, but I feel like I don't remember the first day I met you, but I remember in those moments when you walked into space, it was just like you walked in. Like I don't know how to put this into a word, but it was just like this person's in that space.
You said when I walked in the first time we met.
I think the first time we met, you were definitely probably dumb fucked up, and you came into a staff meeting. I think that's probably it.
I've not done that. Fucked up to a staff meeting, don't do that.
No,
on camera.
You went.
He's really trying to like. No,
you were in the back of like this. This is when we started talking. We met when a break, but like we weren't around at all. But when we first started talking, I think it was you came to a staff meeting. You were at what's called event, like something event at like what was it, Tuesdays or whatever, Mexican Mondays were like that.
Trivia Tuesdays.
Yes, but you walked in like you were like done. Like I'm not. I put that into like extreme terms, like he was fucked up. But like you were just by yourself over there, and I was just like, no matter what, even though he came in and wanted to be standoffish, you were seen you were always seen walking into a space. There's no way Edward can walk into a space and it's just like he could sneak into a seat. You get what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. So like I felt like it's so hard for me. I don't even know why. Even now I think about that question, it's like doesn't make sense to me because when someone walks into a room, it's their aura you see first. For me, I would say
I agree with that, but
like I feel like I could walk into a room and no one would know I'm there. I could just sneak in and sit.
The first time we met, when I saw you walk into like the staff meeting, like I was in my head, I'm like, oh shit, another person of color like lit. Like that was my first thought.
Okay.
Obviously because it was 2016 and it was like.
But that's staff. You were looking. I feel like at that point it was like a
staff perspective. Yeah, like, I was just like, I'm like, fuck this shit.
We need a black person to take over. Our numbers are low.
No, it really did feel like that. But
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I forgot how the hell we got over here. But
when
I met you, I feel like I did have that instant where I was just like, okay, like a person of color.
Yeah.
But I didn't think anything. I'm like, oh, is he straight, or nothing like that.
Something we also need to touch on. I don't trust Edward's gaydar. I think you have. I think you have the most trash gaydar I've ever experienced. Your gaydar is trash, bro. You have not been spot on ever.
Not.
Huh?
You're cute. You're gay. That's his motto.
Yeah, like that's it, bro. He's always like, oh, I could switch you. That's it. And he thinks he's gay. I can switch him. No. And I'm like, no, bro, that's not it at all.
Not even all of that, because literally, no. First of all, no. For me, okay, is my gaydar bad? Yes.
See.
But it's because this is why y'all think it's bad. This is why. Because I be knowing the people who are in the, and what's that right there? The closet, baby. So I already know, or I assume to say, and then I'm like, okay, so that's the tea that's the aura and the energy that I'm picking up. So I'm like,
so wrong. It's so wrong.
But sometimes I've been right.
Okay, out of 10 times, you get like a 2 or 3.
That's a pretty good like average, I would say, or percentage. Well, that's
Edward is able to flip some dudes. I've seen some flips happen. I've experienced some flips. I
do not approve that message.
No, I've seen it. I approve it. So then when I wanted to take the time also to question myself, and for you to take the time to look at us. You know, our org. There's so many gay, bisexual, LGBT community bros out there, but in particular our circle. And I was like looking back, and I can't think of a moment where I was like, did we ever make Edward feel like he wasn't welcome to a space, or that he was a part of the group because of something? And I was like, I'm gonna take this time to ask you, like, is there ever a time? And you put us on blast, you know what I mean?
I have a notepad.
I'm sure you do, honestly. But is there a time that, you know, we made you feel like, or there's some things that we may do like not knowing that make you feel uncomfortable in those spaces?
I appreciate that question. Mm-hmm. It's nothing that I sit there and like I think like nonstop at night. I'm like, I can't believe they did this to me. But I definitely think there were moments, and I definitely had my moments where I threw fire into the. Yeah, I threw wood into the fire.
Okay.
Where I would antagonize you guys, but I think
it has nothing to do with your LGBT. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was never because like, oh, Edward is queer. Like, it was just okay. Like, you're being a bitch right now, so we're about to be assholes, and I'm like, okay, like, what's good?
Yeah.
Like, it was just always that. I think. Like there's been moments where I'm like, oh damn, y'all are watching the football game. Like, ain't nobody was gonna tell me. And it's like, well, Edward, we know like you would be doing like something else. I'm like, yeah, but it would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's so much of like.
I feel you.
You know.
I don't know.
I feel like it's very rare for me to feel like anything like that. I feel like I just saw you guys as boys. Like I just saw it as hanging out with the boys, and like I think you guys were always like very mindful and like respectful to like my beliefs and what like you know if I was hanging out with anybody. Like there was never nothing to it. Like
I think we would have our own secrets and be like, that's Edward, bro. That's secrets that stay within the frat. And like I think we were so happy like about that, and like I felt we just welcomed it. Like to me, I always had that feeling of like the way we talk about it, like if someone was dogging a girl out, we would talk about the same way you were dogging men out.
Yeah,
like you're a fucking dog. Like chill the fuck out, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It never changed for us.
And I think that's one of my favorite parts about like chapter is the fact that like we were always able to have those conversations like straight up.
Yeah.
And it was never like, oh man, bro, don't, you know, I respect that, but like get away. It was just like not Ed, but like, and I remember it was like Wiley would be like, no, like go ahead, like talk to this person. Maybe it's good. You haven't dated someone in a while. Like that's gonna it allows you to. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So for me, it just allowed a different perspective, you know. And I think whenever we would get into arguments, or I would have my moments where I'm like, they're doing this because I'm bi or because I'm queer or whatever. It was literally because, you know, I'm a planner and I have shit plans and I know how like things could work. Mm-hmm. And sometimes things would like fall out and we would just be petty, and it would just be like petty banter. Mm-hmm. But I feel like as soon as, just as much as you like learned from me, like I learned from you guys also.
Yeah.
Because it humbled me in a way, because I was able to realize like shit that wasn't gonna cut with other people. Like, it wasn't gonna make the cut with other people.
Yeah.
So when I'm with my group of friends, like, I can sit there and I can banter and I could do this shit. But like with us, we would be together like nonstop. So yeah, I can give you so much of like, all right, shut up, like rah 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 for so long until you're like, bro, like chill off, you know. So for me, I never took those moments as like, oh, they're being homophobic. It's just like, okay, like maybe I was doing a little bit too much. Like, like whenever we would study in the library and I would like piss you guys off, like
just doing too much.
Just was what it was.
Yeah, no, you're
and
right.
And I think it just comes down to like, there are people who can sit here and be like, and they taunted me and bullied me because I was queer. No, bitch, you were just a bitch. Like, if you're a mean,
I'm sure that happened as well, but then there is those times.
But exactly, but there are those moments that there's people who can be just assholes, and you need to just also be receptive to like, oh shit, like maybe I'm reading you or I'm clocking you or I'm being like, you know, sometimes, like with me and him, like we can get into a car and we can just go like 8 hours just back and forth, like shut up, da 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 da, and it's hilarious. Yeah. But I can't hang out with you for 9 hours. As much as me and you banter, and like give you just banter, because at one point you're gonna be like, yo, bro, like
there's a cap.
Like, let's talk about like some real shit right now, you know. So,
I feel you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Then within like, this is just for anyone out there who is straight. What was the question? What is something that I would never understand being straight? You could take that however you want to.
So many things.
Yeah, you could take that however you want to. The dead space.
I mean, I'm sure you're aware of like the top and bottom culture.
Oh, I'm going. We're going to get into that.
Okay, I think it would be more terms. Like he would lack the knowledge of more terms.
You know what? One thing I don't. It's crazy to me. Queer. To me, it feels like I don't like saying that word, and it's. I get how.
I like queer better than.
Really? So you're saying you like people to say you're queer instead of gay?
Yeah.
But can queer be associated with like the umbrella of LGBT community?
I personally.
I feel like my bad, but gay sounds like just so limited. Like you're just put in this box. Like you have to.
Okay.
I feel like we're just a little more
pansexual, asexual.
So if
today I could like a guy, but tomorrow I don't know what I'm.
So if I go and I say, you know, they're queer, it's not a derogatory term.
No, because I feel like it's like
it's so hard.
Well,
it's so
it depends
crazy.
on the person.
Yeah,
I would say it depends on the person, but you know when to read a room and what language to use. Like if you're sitting here and you're like, oh, here we go, interviewing these queers. Like it's like course, okay, but if you're like, hey, how are you? We have some people here from the queer community representing. You know, it's like different. Like you just gotta pick up the lingo.
I just have to be used to it.
But like. Exactly.
Yeah,
I feel like it includes a nice pool of people. And to answer that, something that you like as a straight man or a straight person wouldn't understand. I'm gonna get deep with this one.
Okay.
And I think this is like a moment for myself.
Okay.
Where it's like growing up, I've always thought about a wedding. Like I've always thought about like, yo, like my wedding day. And it's kind of crazy to think because like you think of more like girls that they get pushed to like, my wedding, what's your wedding dress? And I'm not so much of like I have a Pinterest account and none of that. No. But I know that like for me, having a wedding is gonna be a moment where I'm like, okay, like this is one of the milestones that I'm happy.
So you're thinking about the whole wedding, everything,
yeah,
like that.
And
it's so crazy. I think about just the sneakers I'm gonna wear.
and it shows to me how simple that is. But for me, it's like you have to think about, especially like for me, I'm bisexual, and I you know I can say I'm pansexual. Like I go with the vibes. Like if you can make me laugh, if I can vibe with your energy, like I don't care. Like you know I'm a fuck with you.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to think, is this a person? Like who is this question mark in front of me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can sit there and you do have a girlfriend for many years now, but it's like, God forbid something doesn't work out, you still see yourself with a woman. Maybe not in the time frame that you had, but your change is your time frame, not so much the person. I can be with a man right now and get married and get divorced, and then I can be with a woman. So it's just like, I think one thing that is hard to understand is like creating that fantasy for yourself or those goal setting that are social standards. So such as like your wedding or like having kids. They all become sudden question marks because of the fact that I don't know right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what if I knock some girl up accidentally and end up with a kid, right?
Yeah.
What if I adopt?
Mm-hmm.
What if I become a foster parent?
Yeah.
What if one of my friends has a kid and doesn't want to keep it? You know, it's like it can go either way. So it's like I need a surrogate. Like there are all these ways that I can get this goal, but I don't know how it's getting there.
What it looks like,
or what it looks like. And
it's deep.
One of the things where it's like, and I'll touch on this and I'll move on from it, and you can share if you want, or like I'll do like more kiki ones, but it's thinking about like I want a son, like I want a kid, like really damn bad. And I always thought I'm like,
you want a son?
What?
You want a son?
Yeah, I want a baby boy. Like
it's crazy. I want a girl.
Like I'm thinking, you know, is someone gonna hold like carry my child for me?
Yeah.
Or am I adopting? And it's like I never gave it thought until my dad.
Why don't you just hold it?
And he's like, well, what? He's like, wouldn't you want to see like your own blood? And I'm like, damn, like that really made me think, because I'm like, I want to see like my features and like a little baby me.
Yeah.
But then I also get into the conversation where I'm like, damn, like to have a little rascal running and like your decisions reflect my like who I am. Like, oh, fuck. But then I also do like I really do want kids. So it's just like that's my point on like the seriousness.
Where it's
I
like that take.
It's like having to like build that fantasy world. Your Candyland board, your Monopoly board. You know what you want to get, but you don't know so much of how it's built, or maybe there's different paths, and you just have to kind of wait it out. And I think me being the person I am, being a Sag, like being a planner, like it adds that focus point of like, fuck, like how am I gonna get there? When am I gonna get there? And I've had to learn to just like let it go and live this moment.
How what is it? I forget what it's called, but like, you know, those abilities that we have that we just don't have to think about. Being straight, you know, we don't have to think about that. That's dope. What about the key ones?
I would just say the jokes, the it's just like it's educated, like cultured, passed down like lingo. Like our jokes, they have like research and back meaning to it, or like not so much research and back meaning, but it's like reoccurring or referencing.
Oh, okay.
So that I feel like for me, it makes it so witty and so fun, and it's just like I have all straight friends pretty much until like now in my life. You know, now I've been getting more involved with the community, and I've known, you know, gay people, queer people, but like now I'm more invested in like getting to know and like even learning and then like diving into the culture myself.
Yeah.
But it's the way that like the jokes just flow. It does not happen with the hetero community sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's always like, yeah, I fucked her.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, I fucking lasted 3 hours. And it's like, all right, motherfucker, like, you know damn well you lasted 25 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing? It's just like straight men sometimes fall into this space where all they're trying to do is prove what kind of man or how manly they are, and it's so frustrating to see, because it's like, and that's something you've known this from the jump. I'm always like, I don't give a fuck what you say or what I do or who I like. I'm a man, and you're gonna respect me like a man. And it comes down to the fact that it's like I went through experiences, I've gone through mental, like, you know, walkthroughs of my own for my own self, that I've been able to be the man I am today and have like courage and have bravery and have like dignity and like know how to treat a woman, know how to treat a man, a person. Like there are these men who are 27 who inside are little boys because they haven't healed from these little boy traumas or these little boy situations, and it's so annoying because it then gets pushed off into something as simple as a joke, and then the misogynistic jokes are like, yeah, I clapped 3 girls, or I did this that, and it's just like, that's your welcome line, like that's your entrance pitch, like that's your key, like, you know. And it's like
I hate that so much too,
I understand barbershop talk, don't get me wrong, like, you know, I just said, like, I hang out with you guys all the time, I hang out with like C3 all the time, like I know what it is to sit there and be like, no, she bad and da 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 da, because I obviously too I have like, oh well, damn, she's cute, but then there's certain difference from sitting there and be like, damn, she's bad, yo, you should like hit that, like, or you should like spit game or whatever the fuck, versus coming in and like being in a crowd and trying to like do all the commotion,
misogynistic,
and exactly, and I feel like that's what just sometimes like pulls me away, and like sometimes hetero people will not understand, like,
no, I definitely feel that way too,
how the jokes don't, the jokes, they're not hitting.
When you brought that up too, I think that in those situations I feel so uncomfortable when it gets to those times, because it's like I'm not someone who's misogynistic. I'm not someone who deals with that machismo. Like I have a girlfriend. Like, you may look at me and think this other way of me, but like, I've had a girlfriend for 6 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, in those situations, I'm just like, yo, I'm a guy. I understand being a guy, but it's like, to a certain extent, yo, you're ODing right now. And it's like, I never say anything. I'm just like, yo, you're ODing right now, bro. Like, I can't deal with that. Like, whatever. So I just move on from it.
The worst is like when they're ODing, it's like, you're just they're capping. It's like why? Like, why? Just disgusting. Why?
Nah, I feel you. Anything else before we move on?
What do you think? Any kikis that like? I feel like there's so many that we always like talk about or think about. And
after this, you'll be like, I wish I said this shit.
Yeah.
The only one thing that I was gonna came to mind while talking about like guys is like, or like about hetero guys, is the fact that, like, for example, you guys are, well, not you guys, but like hetero men are so limited to like to everything they do, and even to like what they see and what they listen to. Cause like, for example,
saying hetero men are limited.
To one of my friends, and we were talking about rappers, and he starts mentioning. I start to notice that he only mentions men that are rappers. And I'm like, okay, but I'm no bar, but like Nicki Minaj has some pretty good ass lines. And okay, debatable, but and he's like, okay, well, I don't listen to Nicki. I don't listen to any female rappers, and I'm like, is there a reason? And it's just basically it just came down to because she's a female, so like that makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Whereas to somebody that's queer, can be open minded, like they don't care if they're singing about vagina or a dick or anything. Like, we just go with the flow, and if we like it, and if we don't, and if other people don't, then we don't care. Shit like that. It's just
I feel that for sure. It's weird. When I think of the music I listen to, I definitely don't listen to like any females. But I think that's because of what's pushing the culture. It's like women are pushed up into the front of it. There's no way. Like, I went to a Beyonce concert, sat like at the roof, me and Kat, and I was like, how the fuck do I know all these lyrics to all these songs? How? I have never sat here and like, let me put on Lemonade or whatever like that. But I knew every fucking lyric because I like Kat listened to it. And I'll just sit there and listen to it. But it's like, I knew everything from her old stuff to new stuff. But then I deal with like, there's certain songs where that's on the radio. Like, to me, sometimes like Meg drags it too much. I'm just like, I can't. Like, it's not my style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't like it. It's like, and it's crazy how like in men's stuff we'll take it like they'll talk about having sex with a girl, and they'll rap about the whole song. But to me, it'll never hit me like, damn, he's just rapping about fucking a bitch. But then when it comes to a female, it's like, damn, all she talking about is her pussy the whole time. But I catch myself doing that where I'm like, damn, Meg, like,
but that's
all
gross.
we're talking about.
Like us, we do that too. I mean, I feel like anybody.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Well, I was gonna say for the last one was something that hetero men won't understand, or like they need to understand, is like, not all queer people know each other. Like, sometimes it's cute and it's like cool because it allows you to understand that they're open to your sexuality, or like it's like kind of giving you the
they brought that up about gay people. They're like, okay, do you want to like when you find out someone's gay, you're like, oh, I have to introduce you to my gay friend as well. Does that know you?
Yes, the fuck it does. Really? Because it's like, if you sit here, and I'm not sitting here like fronting that I have like straight hetero boyfriend, like friends that are boys. Yeah. So it'd be like, oh, hang out with straight boys. Yeah. But it's like that's the group that I hang out with. So it's like, for me, it's like, you can, maybe go ahead, introduce me. I'm open to having a pool and a network and like meeting someone from the community. Yeah. But it don't mean that I'm there's subcultures to it. It's just like, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, you are not, like, we are not in the same caliber. Yeah. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you're still on the same team no matter what. Like, especially on Pride Month, this June, like, it's us against the world. Yeah. But just because we share this one common thing, there's so many other things that are like, can make you different, or like, you just don't link. You know? So sometimes it's just a little annoying when people are like, oh my God, you would love my friend Johnny. Really? And I'm like, oh, let me guess. And Johnny's, and they're like, yeah, he's gay, buddy. And I'm like, okay, what about it?
That's like, so cool. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. That's one of the questions I did have. Like, what is something that offends you? All right. So for the last question I did have, is where this discussion I had with my family members, and we talked about, like, how within Biden's administration, how they have passed, I don't know the exact whatevers that happened, but you see, like, I'm not going to don't sit here and like, well, Malik said this is like, I don't know the exact things, but I watched Dr. Umar's take on the Breakfast Club when he talked about, like, how past President Barack Obama, and how like a lot of issues weren't getting passed now into present times, like Biden and Kamala Harris, where we're seeing like first things he do is like stop Asian hate, and then like a transgender movement of passing bills, but we're not seeing that in the Black community. And then there was debates of like, how within like the past years, instead of pushing for black rights, that they have been pushing more for gay rights and LGBT community rights, queer rights, pushing that more to the forefront instead of the minority rights and the issues that we're having, and that they're saying like that the LGBT community has taken over what is important right now, what black people have been fighting for this whole time. So I wanted to see what you're taking. It could be something subtle.
I don't think one fight is more important than another. I think to say, and from the information that I have gathered on my own self right now, I don't think it's to say that it's being pushed in front, but maybe so much
talking to the mic,
much more alongside of it.
Yeah.
And I navigated that my own self because I question how I feel as if after 2015, like things really did pick up in the LGBT community where it was more accepted. That's also another reason why I think that it's being pushed so much to the forefront right now is, although it's getting this attention, the attention that it's getting is not that it's, an all gay school or positive shit. It's shit to stop people from being themselves or living an easier life, or using a bathroom or whatnot. So I feel like the reason it's being pushed up so much to the front is because coming from, or the last president, we had America looked like a fucking mess outside of here. Yeah. So I think they believe a lot of it comes, from our culture, and maybe we look weaker to other countries. Like that's the only answer I could possibly give. Besides that, I think, it's getting the attention. Unfortunately, not so much. Maybe positive. It has its positive ways, but it definitely has the things that are holding back. And I think it's still important. It's always going to be important. I feel like we should always put Black lives still up there in any issues that and matters and laws and bills that need to be made. But it's like if we put 100% of our focus on one problem, then the other problems are going to pile up. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying it's a ticket system either, where it's like, okay, this month it's February, let's work on like Black Lives Matter bills, or
you bring up a good point.
Like June, we're only gonna focus on this. Yeah. But I just think we do need to hit a little bit. And as for how much work they've done from the time period that they've been in office, we also need to keep in mind that like we're sitting here also trying to get our lives together. So now imagine going through the year that we went through as a politician, and then being elected and inaugurated, and it's gonna really annoy me that I can't say this word right now. Inaugurated.
Fuck it. Elected, bitch.
Elected. Sworn in. But like I feel like they haven't had the time. Like it's only June. It's like they have to not only figure out what happened in there, like what mess has been left made, the shiesty shit that happens on top of their own personal life, mental health, family. Like I'm not sitting here like giving them like leeway because they're making coins, this is their job, but I feel like it's still early. And hopefully we can see, but I think I can say they're touching on every little bit of piece that they can, and maybe
I spoke to colleagues about this too. Because it was just hard for me, I was seeing like where's my head at, like dealing with my own thoughts about it, and they brought up a great point. It was pretty funny, and they were like, when we speak about like it's taking focus away, is it that we're saying that it sucks white males who are in those roles, whatever, white people can't focus, they have to focus on one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time. And that's what he was talking about. Like he was like, since someone's saying like, the LGBT fight is taken away from the Black Lives Matter fight, and it's like, so you're saying that white people can only focus on one plate at a time. And I was like, yo, that's so true. Like it's like almost like all these rights can't just be done as a whole. It's like, okay, now we're fighting for this. Okay, now we're fighting for this. Why can't we just all do it as one? And it's strange because when I look at it too, of like when people talk about diversity quotas and like how jobs need to hire more now, and like that they're taking that, like, instead of hiring black males, they're looking at it as if like I can hire someone who is a part of the queer community to fulfill my diversity quota instead of hiring someone of color. And those are some of the debates I did have with people, and there's so much more that can go into that.
That's gonna be a no.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
It's not like a fucking fill-in chip. Like that's like saying. Well, I guess the example I was gonna use doesn't really work, but you're a student. Let's say I'm a student. You go to a different school. I go to a different school. Like I can't go to your school and take a test for you. If that makes sense.
You missed me with that one. You missed me with that analogy. I don't know. I think it for me is
run it back for me. Hold on, because I know that makes sense, and I just need to be able to explain.
Somewhat. Okay. So for me, it's like I don't have a yay or nay on this. I'm still doing my like understandings of it, but people fight and say that when people look at filling your diversity quota, that's a thing. People have to fill their quotas, and they're like instead of hiring the black male.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to complete your test. And I'm a student and you're a student. I can't complete your test for you. So I think that's stupid because it's like, and even to use quota, but it's like, let's say you're supposed to have this certain amount of quota. I don't think you can, it's not like the, all right, what minority are we going to get today to fill in the blank? Like, I think that's kind of fucked up. I feel like, although, yes, you should have a diverse, staff or whatnot. I think it should come also to fucking, like, skill set. You know what I mean? Like,
but do you think that, because now I'm just playing devil. This is not my own beliefs. This is where people are fighting, and I understand these issues where they're like.
But before we move on? Did I make sense? Like
no. So let's go again. We're going to keep going into it to see if you have come up with another analogy. I mean, your analogies take me to other places. Maybe they will. It's just me right now.
The way I'm comparing the task, you're saying like,
it's not a task.
The filling the quota.
Yeah, that
would be a task. So I'm saying for them to think that they can use a black person and they can use a gay person to interchange and be like, what I'm saying is I can't go, or maybe we're in the same school, whatever. I can't sit there and do your exam. Like, we're both students, but I can't sit there and just, today I'm going to take your test and then today you're going to take the test. Like, we just can't do that because although we still fall in the same category as students, just the same way that you're falling into the same way as like a minority, you just can't swap them in and out.
But when they do say that, so the people who do see this as like, they look at it as an interchangeable, right? I see where you're going with that.
Interchangeable. There we go.
Right? So you're looking at it like that. They'll be like, they rather see someone who is of the LGBT community who may not be a minority. It could be a white woman who is that or a white man who is that to fill that quota because they're more scared of the black man coming in and giving them a boost up. They'd rather not see them have any sort of power or authority or anything like that. So that's why they'd rather have that fill their quota.
So then what would we do in a situation where
Talk to the mic.
What would we do in a situation where I walk in and someone who's Afro Latino, right? Someone who's queer has an intersection like of character, like it intersects right here.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I just get disqualified or am I a twofer? Like, am I 2 for 1?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know. I'm not the white man, so I don't know.
I feel like
I'm just coming from the perspective.
I believe these things happen, and I know it happens because at the end of the day, when you work in like certain industries, you hear it's like, okay, you want a certain side, or I don't know how to put it to politically correct, but it's like you want a diverse, group, and. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of messed up to like sit there and think that you can just interchange. I feel like
I'm not saying I agree with any of the sides. I'm just saying this is a thought that I'm still thinking on and see where I lie.
I don't even know if I should say this, but it's like let me gather my words together.
This is blind space. It says gray matter. Right now, no one's speaking. If it's a conversation you'd rather come back at a later time, or we could talk on Instagram Live and debate it. And have I just
don't know how to word it.
Okay.
For it not to come off problematic.
Okay.
Or to like maybe like I don't know if it's sensitive.
Okay. So, we don't have to say it. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. We don't have to. Yeah. But this is a topic that, if anyone out there has something to add on it, feel free to DM me and we can go back and forth because I'm still trying to think about this in many perspectives. So
what was the question one more time?
So do you feel as if they are using the LGBT community to fulfill quotas instead of, minorities, black men and stuff like that? And that's what we're seeing. There's so many studies out there that I'm seeing that the black man has been left out, Instead, they're boosting up these communities to have these higher position roles, things like that. But again, I'm open for conversation, open for debate, and I don't have one-sided view on this at all. But I just want to see what people's different perspectives are. Of course, if you're a black male, you may feel this way, like they're taking our jobs, whatever, like that. But I come from it with I just want to learn and see what other people's points of view are.
Yeah, I don't think that's a question to dive in on its own piece.
Yeah,
because there's so many layers to it. You just really have to think it through. So I will definitely be back with some answers.
No, that's facts. That's fair. All right, so off this serious note, I came up with some rapid fire, and I got this from Nori on Drink Champs. How he would just hit you with rapid fire.
Bet.
All right, a light one first. Let's see if you'll answer this shit. Top or bottom?
Huh?
Top or bottom?
You first.
Neither.
Neither.
Okay. Edward's a flake right now. So.
But no.
Go ahead.
That right there is one of those moments too where it's like, maybe I have knowing our relationship, but I don't think it's an average person will go up to you, and I would go up to you and I'd be like, so you let your girl fuck you with a strap on?
No, in fact, these are questions. These are specifically questions from Vogue. You should not ask someone who is a part of the LGBT community.
Top.
So that's why I just said it. I'm taking it. I would never just walk up to someone and be like, "Are you top or bottom?" I would never do that. But these are the questions. I was like, "Fuck that! I know I can go with these with Edward." So these are the type of questions it is.
I'm ready.
I should have prefaced it with that. My fault. Who's the man in the relationship?
I would say me.
You?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try vagina first? Yes?
Yeah. I would.
Okay. No, did you try it first before you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried it.
So how does it work on a date? Who pays?
Oh, these are rapid?
Yeah.
I mean, I pay usually.
You'll pay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do gay guys have it easier when it comes to partners?
Bitch, this is not no rapid. This is tea.
Okay, you can go.
No. So in the queer community, it's hard as hell to find someone or to even speak to someone. And the reason I say that is goes into subcultures. All these people think just because you're queer that you're gonna blink.
Okay.
But you think about it. When you walk through the streets, every girl you see, you're not like, it's like, okay, she's cute. Oh, whatever. You certain people catch your eye. So it's like, I forgot what the fuck I was saying.
It's hot.
You were trying to say just because you're gay doesn't mean that I'm gonna type shit.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, it being hard. So it's like you have these subcultures because it's like not only are you looking at someone like, okay, you're cute, or oh, I like your energy, or I like this, but now you have to be like, all right, wait, now you have this pool and you're like, okay, who from this pool is queer? Now you have 50%. It's like, all right, now it's 25%. It's like now you have 25% from okay, who am I actually physically attracted to out of the picture? Then you're like, okay, out of the people I'm physically attracted to, who's kind of not even this, who the fuck is in my age group? Because it's like you can range talking to someone that's 37 and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know you were 37. So now the age group, then you also come now the social things where it's or do you have a job? What are you doing? What's going on? Bam, boom, boom. You're left with maybe 0.5 by the time you figure out what the hell you like. So it's not easy.
Are you a bottom? Which is the biggest.
Which is the hardest
you go
one.
Into who's
because,
top or bottom?
Because you can sit there and you can kiki with have everything in common and then just both be two tops. And then.
So is that a first date question you have to ask? Or even before first date?
It depends how you do it because
he just gave me all this shit for asking him, someone I have known for 4 to 5 years, about top about. You see the bullshit? He was just doing that shit on purpose for you guys. So that's a question you guys have.
No, it's because it's been a conversation that we've been having
really?
This week. Recently. So it's just it's
straight people being like, oh, so you're a top or bottom? Because you know why? As a straight person, when you ask that, it prefers what type of gay are you? That's what it does.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Bitch.
Nah, I just thought about that.
And
it
sucks to say because I shouldn't be here and be like because it doesn't. You can be there's men who are buff and husky, and, are power bottoms.
Yeah.
But to the point of it is just
that's funny.
You just because you are queer or you like the same thing doesn't mean there's so many other aspects and in intersections different caps that does it fit. It's kind of like a Lego, and so you have to keep building it and see what piece fits where. And
why can't you be both?
You can be both, but it's just that's me asking you, why can't you be both? If your girl was to ask you to use a strap on, because that's what she, or maybe bringing a toy in the room, to keep it a little more minimal or vanilla, would you be open to it? So it's certain people don't like that. Certain people like preference other things.
I feel like you've dealt with those conflicts before. You're like, oh, I like him, but
oh my
these
god,
differences.
yeah, no,
yeah.
and it's unfortunate because it's like
It's unfortunate.
it's so unfortunate because you sit there and you're really fucking. You're like, damn, like there is not one thing wrong with you, and then it's like, it's kind of like if you have two plugs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're just gonna sit there, and
That's
it's like
so funny.
Then that's what opens the culture, and sometimes I get a little upset with this, but I understand. It's like that's what then creates a culture about more open relationships or cheating or like how the gay culture is, where it's like so open to just what's the word polygamy, like is it polyamorous?
What are you trying to say?
Like platonic. How it opens these relationships that are so platonic, and it's like, fuck it, we're gonna have sex, and all right, and you move on, and it becomes like these average things, which then ties into what I said earlier, where it's like now into this getting to that wedding image. You're already having so much like troubles from just finding who the fuck you can give time to. And now think about after you do the like, are they a top, are they this, are they that, are they that, are they a bottom, are they, now you're hitting, are you loyal? How are your communications? The normal shit that hetero people go into. Like, oh, I like how they communicate with me, or I like that they pay for it. Now you're going through that. Now you're going through that. Wait, but they were trying to pay and I wanted to pay, or I wanted to pay. So it's like, then it's like you get, I always see it as like you get to like level 10 and then it's like, and it's like, all right, that ain't work out. And then you talk to the next person. So it just becomes this thing where then not only is that a problem, but now you talk to this next person. They're like, oh yeah, I know. And I'm like, did we ever meet? Yeah, I know you used to talk to like my best friend. And you're like, damn. So now I'm not about to talk to you because you just, So
I watched a podcast.
It is a little harder. I would say it's a little harder. Everyone has.
You're saying it's harder.
It's harder, and obviously, like I'm gonna give credit, like or acknowledgments, or like in a heteronormative relationship. I mean, from a female perspective, I know they maybe have these standards of how they have to look and whatnot, and that makes it a little harder for them to date and whatnot because they're not looking like, or a normal average girl.
You guys are like, I don't mean to put you in my but queer. Like when I see gay guys like that,
he's like queer. Oh my god, I can't even get the word out.
I have to pause. So dry. But like I feel like they're so I don't know. I'm not gonna put this in a political
gay.
No, no, but like they're so mean. Like they'll be like, "You're so fat," and they're being dead. It's not like It's not what.
Gay men are more misogynistic sometimes.
Yes,
they have the moments.
Like, it's like they'll have this little bit of fat on them, and like they'll grab it, like, "Dude, you're like, oh, I'm so fat." Like they're so like an image that you have.
I haven't experienced that though.
It's so crazy. I have like I'm in their talk. I've been around gay men.
Like
they're talking about
other.
I don't know what that is.
Like a cunt.
Oh yeah. Like it's just like, bro, why are you talking about someone like that? Like even if like whatever, you're just talking shit on this person. Like that's not good to do. But what I was talking with, like, it's easier, as a straight man, you always talk about, dude, the gays have it so much easier, gay men, because like no matter what, you're a male, and this is how straight men will look at it. Like you're a male. Either way, either way, you want to fuck. So it's if you look at it's two guys, it'd be like, oh, we can fuck, let's just go fuck, and it's easier. That's how we look at it. And then when I look at it as like the minuscule term of it, like, you know what a man likes. So when it comes to gift giving, you'll give amazing gifts because you know what a man likes.
Oh, gifts, okay.
Yeah, like gift, not dirty ass mind, bro. Christmas, bitch. Like giving a gift. Like you'll be like, oh, I know what this guy likes. Or you can wear each other's clothes, shit like that. If you're the same, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's easier. It's whereas, like, but that's just us just saying that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
I can see how it's funny. Easy.
It's different aspects.
Easy to visualize as easy, but I think
there's so much shit we don't see.
To look at it,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, on the long term it's harder, and I feel like to look at it from the other side, it's like I can see that because it's like, oh, you have it so easy, but when you really like dive in, it's like you also have your own like emotions and whatnot that you're going through. So I wish it was that simple, but it's like you can be talking to someone and then you really have like someone that you bang with so heavy, and then they could also like just be fearful of like coming out. You know what I mean? And it's like that's sometimes a hard thing where it's like you have to like, you can't knock someone's journey and their experience. Like, or you could be like, damn, okay, but it also just sucks because it's like
you're hiding.
Sometimes you're hiding and you see this light in someone, and when you see that light, like for me, I've had my moments where I've like when I lived in New York, I would walk the streets and with whoever I would like hanging out, whether they're out or not, it was a safe place for them, and I would see like this entire different side.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like,
wow.
like you could have this happiness every day, and it upsets me because I'm like, there are so many other people that can experience like this glow that you have right now.
Yeah.
But you for yourself, or for some reason, are not allowing, or you yet, or you know, you're not ready
Yeah.
for it. But it's just like, I just look back on the times where I wasn't so much as accepting or open to it, where I'm like, I could have just, like, I could have walked into that room, or maybe just done something where my focus wasn't about my body language, or my focus wasn't about, am I putting off, or like, how am I being perceived? If I'm
so
just
much.
doing me,
Yeah.
and I could, like, I always think about that. I'm like, am I sitting here right now thinking about how I'm being perceived, while someone just like walked behind me or past me, and I could have had a moment of dialogue that could have been networking, that could have been a connect, you know, like. I think that was a big part of me opening up into myself, and that's why it happened a lot during college, where it was just like, this is it, take it or leave it. I'm gonna keep it real, like, and
damn,
dope,
bro. I really appreciate coming on. I didn't have any more. Those are my rapid fires that I'll let you get to see.
I dig them, and I appreciate
it's so dope
having me here too.
Yo, man, thank you so much for being open. I appreciate off-camera audience and on-camera Edward for your openness and, you know, diving deeper into, like, you know, those things, those talks that we never have. So I think it's dope. I feel like so many people are going to learn from it.
We definitely dive into them a few times, but I feel like
us dive into it, but I'm saying the majority of people never get the opportunity to dive into it, and we provide the outlet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Edward's episodes are always long as shit. He definitely has another long one. But thank you guys for making it this far. Yeah, no, this one's dope. It's just I really love this so much. Please go and follow Edward on Instagram. I'll have it below. We also have already dropped the pins and stickers are on the website. And those we trust. So go and support. I understand everyone's gonna be like, yo, shipping is crazy, but yo, we live in America where shit costs so much to ship, even though it's a little item. So I try my best. I'm not taking the biggest profit.
And support creatives. We support one another. So please.
Facts, bro. Get it out there. I appreciate everyone out there. We definitely have to do this again. I know you're gonna come on again.
No, I'm definitely 100% coming back on. And hopefully by the time I do come back on, we'll be able to have some cross collaboration. And I'll be able to have you on my.
Do you have anything coming soon?
Right now, I've just been working on some projects. I got to do a music video last Sunday. With this artist. I can give him a quick shout out, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I don't know. It costs to give shout outs.
Oh, it costs to give shout outs.
Like, nah, I'm playing.
Well, you know what? Actually, make sure y'all follow me on my Instagram, Edward_ENT. I'll be probably posting those on my story. And
no, shout him out. I'm playing with
definitely.
You, what the hell? Imagine.
Hold on. We get in there.
That's dope. You were in his music video?
Yeah, so it's the Rio has. So it's the Rio_has he. So his music, like, you know, usually when people they're like, oh, I make music, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay, this is dope. I'm jamming to it. So
check him out.
Yeah, definitely check him out. I'll screenshot and I'll send this to you.
Yeah, I'll put it in. You'll see below his @name.
But it was definitely fun.
Yeah.
It's like it brought back that moment of like, all right, some creative flow.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I've just been ready to do some photo shoots, and then cooking everything in the back works right now.
Yeah.
I think we've had the conversations just like, I want to do it right, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like opening my eyes, you know. It's like you focus so much on doing things right. It's like at some point the difference between you and another person is that they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come through, and I can't wait to share more with you.
Dope, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you, and
we'll see you next episode.
Happy Pride.
Peace.